critical thinkers, public speakers, and they debate.
We have doctors, we have nurses and midwives. But you're the one who read the article and said that yes.
Introducing iDebate TV Championship, where the best schools in Rwanda battle against each other, resolving conflicts without resorting to violence, solving problems creatively using debate. iDebate TV Championship.
Hello and welcome back. This is the iDebate TV Championship. You're in it for a treat. This is episode 4. My name is David. I'm always your host. Now today's motion is, this house believes that Covid-19 vaccine should be mandatory for all citizens. I hope you got your vaccine because today we're debating if it's going to be mandatory. Now the judge panel is comprised of Judge Christian, Judge Joselito, and Judge Sandrine. And then the proposition side, the side that is saying we should have the vaccine mandatory, is from Kigali Christian School. The negative, the opposition is Growley Academy. Judge Christian, how are you feeling today?
I'm okay, thank you.
Yes, now you are known to be one of the toughest judges. How are you going to be doing the judging?
I don't know about that, first of all. But today, as the motion says that vaccines should be mandatory for all citizens, we as the judges believe that our proposition will tell us why they think the world where all the vaccinations are good, and then the opposition side will tell us why they think against that world, and then what if they have any other world they could pray for, they will let us know, and then we work between the two, we see how we go. Thank you.
Well, I hope that both sides have heard what the judges are expecting from them. Well, so begins today's debate.
Okay, so without any further ado, we may receive the first speaker from proposition. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Daniela, and I'm the first speaker from the proposition side. And I have the second speaker as King, and as the third speaker, Daniel. So we are here proposing the motion that says that this House believes that COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatory for all citizens. And before I say this, I want to say that we are the master of our fate and the captain of our destiny together. So, as I'm going to explain the keywords first, I have this from Oxford Languages. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. A vaccine is a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against one or several diseases prepared from the causative agent of a disease. Should is used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness, typically when criticizing someone's actions. And then B is exist, occur, or take place. Mandatory is required by law or mandate or compulsory, and then all is used to refer to the whole quantity or extent up of a particular group or thing, and then citizen is an inhabitant of a particular town or city. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you the importance of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines protect everyone from getting infected and severely ill, and significantly reduce the likelihood of hospitalization and death. So this is where we're showing you that if I'm getting a vaccine, I'm a citizen, right? I need a vaccine because I know that maybe I'm not going to get really cured of the disease I'm having. But if we have COVID-19 vaccines, we have total chances of not having death and everything. But before I say anything, here is our plan. Our plan is that we're making it mandatory for the 2 doses of the first COVID. So this is why we're saying that we are making it mandatory, because not all citizens, if maybe I say that, the government will say that we want it to be a choice to the citizens, not everyone will take it serious, which means that we have to make it mandatory. And in making it mandatory, this means that we are letting our citizens, we are we, the government, who are making it mandatory because we know that we are going to put these rules where you have to have a vaccine to enter somewhere or work in any other place. So this is why we are making it mandatory, because if we made it a choice, not all citizens will make it serious. And then my other point is this: getting vaccinated is the best way to slow down the spread of COVID-19. We've put in place the measures where we have to sanitize, where we have to use the sanitizers, where we have to have social distancing, but it didn't work. We saw the COVID-19 going upper, but once we actually brought this COVID-19 vaccinations, this is where we saw it decreasing in some ways that my other speaker gonna show you. So this is what I'm saying, that in making COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory, it's gonna help all of us, because citizens will make it serious, will know that if you have to do something, you'll have to have a vaccination of COVID-19. And then what is actually important more than someone's health? What is actually important more than you being actually healthy and knowing that you don't have chances to die? So another thing is that COVID-19 vaccinations are effective at preventing infection, serious illness, and death. So this is where we are actually seeing that COVID-19 vaccinations are actually helping us, where I actually stated our source of information from cdc.gov.com, where even the Reuters.com stated that countries with vaccine mandates like Austria, Germany, Indonesia, Italy, New Zealand, Poland, Turkey, United States, and Hungary are showing that, like Canada, are literally showing that it really helped them, where we see it in each and every way. Like for Canada, they're no longer wearing face masks, all because of this COVID-19 vaccines, which means that if we actually want our health to be clear, we need this. Thank you. So is there any question?
Who is the government?
We are the government.
You who?
You who? We have different departments of the government. Specify you who.
Me, Agasera Queen Daniela, I'm here talking for the government.
You talk to the government, you're not the government, that's one. Two, what will happen if people don't comply? That's the first question. What will happen if people don't comply? Three, are the data rising of COVID-19 because of the failure of the measures or because of the variants that we're having?
Okay, now I can get to answer you. First of all, you're saying I'm not the government. In case you don't see any other participant of the government, I'm here representing them. Second of all, you're saying, what if they don't take in place that COVID-19 vaccine? We have rules that are applied. If you know that you have to go to work and show your certificate of vaccinations, how do you know that if you know you have to work for your well-being and you don't have the certificate of vaccination, how do you think that you're gonna enter? That's obvious. You have to get the vaccination, because we are not using physical abuse. We, as the government, we want your health. We want your better health. So I guess
what is the relation between you being the master of your fate and the mandatorizing of the vaccination to all citizens?
Yes, I'm being the master of my fate because I want my health to be good. So if I'm the master of my fate, I can't just let this COVID-19 vaccination be a choice, since I have to make it mandatory, which means I have to really stick on it. Any other question? Thank you.
Question. How many citizens do we have in Rwanda? And how many vaccines do you think you have?
So I have the statistics here, and Rwanda has been, we have worldwide, according to the worldwide.com, according to http www.afro.who.int, Rwanda has been vaccinated 10% of population reaching the first global target, and that was on 20th September 2021. So I don't have a quite number of the whole population, but I guess the percentage is enough for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's now receive the first speaker from opposition. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, first, allow me to thank the first speaker from the proposition side. She came here and said that we are, as human beings, are the master of our fate. Indeed, right? So before I talk more about that, good afternoon. My name is Rukune Dwij, and I'm very honored to be the first speaker from the opposition side. We have Brian and Perfect, who are the second speaker and the third speaker, respectively. I am going to redefine today's motion. I'm going to state its status quo, the case line, give the good, the better, and best option instead of making COVID-19 vaccine mandatory. Ladies and gentlemen, let us come back to our motion. It says this House believes that COVID-19 vaccines should be mandatory to all citizens. COVID-19, which is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus, whereby the host who acquired it might show mere or mild symptoms such as cold, fever, etc., etc. And we have vaccine, which is a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against disease. We have mandatory, which is equal to compulsory or required by law. And we have citizens, which are native members or people who hold permanent residence of the country. Meaning all citizens are all native members or people who hold permanent residence of the country. Even a child who is born 1 second ago is the native member of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker from the proposition side came here and told us about us being our own master of our fate. So if we are the masters of our fate, the government shouldn't be in our health issues. The government should never be in our health issues because we definitely know that the vaccine is needed, but you're not going to put me at gunpoint, tell me that take the vaccine, do this and do this, when I know that if I don't take it, I'm going to get the spread of coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a source, which is USD.CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. It gave some statistics that proved that in USA, 5 to 11-year-old children got heart inflammation diseases after having 1 dose of the COVID-19 virus. Now, are we going to put the life of the next generation at stake here, ladies and gentlemen? Are we? I don't think so. So let me state the status quo. Ladies and gentlemen, the current situation is that 32.3% of the Rwandan population have been fully vaccinated, where 73 have only had 1 dose. And should I remind you that it is not mandatory in Rwanda? We know that we are not going to put our lives at stake here. Ladies and gentlemen, our case sign say that why should we take risks based on assumptions? I'm going to talk about the risks, then Brian is going to talk about the assumptions. Risk number 1 being violating human rights. In the Article 19 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it allows any person who lives on earth to have freedom of speech. So if we know that, and then people are going to come us making it a mandatory to have the COVID-19 virus, what will happen? Protesting. When people protest, there are going to be insecurity in the country. There are going to be the damaging social cohesion among people. And what will happen then? The government will put force in everything. There will be loss of lives and the destruction of infrastructures. When that happens, money, a lot of money will be wasted in everything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, instead of forcing people and taking the COVID-19 vaccines, what should we do? Show them facts, show them statistics, and they'll definitely go for the vaccines. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions?
So, are you sure that we are abusing human rights?
I'm most definitely sure.
So, in your research, as we saw, the professor of human rights known as Constantine Detoriu really say that if someone is not taking this COVID-19 vaccine, he or she is not obliged or forced physically. So if the professor say that, who are you to say that we're actually abusing it?
I am here and I'm stating my fact as a citizen of my country. I must well know that my health is not at stake because I will go for the COVID-19 vaccine because I know if I don't take it, I will get sick. But I'm free to take it or not take it, whether you put me at gunpoint or not. Any other question? Yes?
Yes, so I have a question. What is more important than a citizen's life at stake?
Nothing.
Exactly, thank you.
Any other question?
No, thank you.
I must definitely raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's also have the second speaker from proposition.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm by the name Zonga Okinkitoko, or Kelsey, and I'm here to debate about the motion that says this House believes that COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatory for all citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, the basis of the proposition side, or of the proposers, is for the well-being and is for the health and the well-being of the citizens at large. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker came here and very well explained the key terms in the motion. I think I don't have to repeat them, but I can only state one, which is the most efficient one I need to talk about. What is a vaccine? It's a substance given to people to stop them from getting or being ill from a particular disease. Let me talk about another one, which they said very well. What is mandatory, compulsory, or required by the law? Ladies and gentlemen, let me first refute. They came here and asked about what the government, what government we are. Our first speaker said she was here as the government. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to add on that. We are also coping the motion mostly on the what? On Rwanda, ladies and gentlemen. I think your question is answered. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker, your first speaker came here and talked about that the government shouldn't be the master of our choice. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first be clear. You and you guys chose me as your government. You trusted me. You know I'm doing the right thing. We all see, ladies and gentlemen, that this COVID-19 is killing us, ladies and gentlemen. Before, when we didn't have the vaccine, what was happening, ladies and gentlemen? People are dying. We have examples in Italy. 500,000 people were dead, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't what? We didn't have the prevention or something to cure that, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have vaccines right now, ladies and gentlemen. Rwanda has been given 100 million doses and 4.18 million people have been fully vaccinated, which means 32.3%, ladies and gentlemen, of the population was fully what? Vaccinated, ladies and gentlemen. We're going very well, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you how. If we don't vaccinate, dear opponents, vaccinations will lead to total opening up of the entire economy, ladies and gentlemen. Vaccination will lead me to go back to school, ladies and gentlemen. Vaccination will help me to not repeat the same year that they did to us when we didn't have the vaccinations right now, ladies and gentlemen. But since we now have vaccinations, do you know what it helped us with, ladies and gentlemen? We're studying, ladies and gentlemen. We're going out. We're socializing like before, ladies and gentlemen. In order for our well-being for our well-being, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have these vaccinations. Let me tell you how we have to make them mandatory, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't make them the mandatory, ladies and gentlemen, more people, there is serious ill, ladies and gentlemen. It will cause serious ill, which means death, ladies and gentlemen, which means pressure on hospitals, ladies and gentlemen. I might go there when I don't have coronavirus. But when I have asthma, I need an emergency, a quick emergency. But hospitals are full of these people, ladies and gentlemen, sick of coronavirus. These people who don't want to have this vaccination, ladies and gentlemen, these people are dying. We are dying. People sick of asthma, they are dying, ladies and gentlemen, because of that, ladies and gentlemen. We have statistics according to HTTP www.afro.who integrity. Rwanda had vaccinated 10% of the population, reaching the first global target that was 20th in September 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I showed you how we have to make it mandatory. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Question. Don't we have people that are hospitalized and yet they are vaccinated? That's one. Two, what is the difference between a person who is vaccinated and the one who is not?
First answer the first question, then you'll answer the second. It's better? Thank you. So, let me tell you, your first question was, don't we have people who are sick of other diseases? What's the question?
Don't we have people hospitalized because of COVID-19 and yet they are vaccinated?
Yes, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first answer that. We have people who are hospitalized because of COVID-19 while they have what? The vaccine. Let me tell you what is the vaccine helping us. It is scientifically shown that it is helping us, not 100%. It's not curing us. It's preventing more illness, ladies and gentlemen. It's not causing death, ladies and gentlemen. More people are not dying. Before 10 people were per day. People dead. Another question?
Do you think you love?
So the question is, would you please restate the motion again?
The motion says, this House believes that COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatory.
Government loves you more than you love yourself.
Continue the question.
No,
That's the question.
yeah.
Do I think that the government loves me more than I love myself?
No. Do you know?
No, I don't know. I know that's 100%. They love us, ladies and gentlemen. They brought these vaccines. They had funds, brought these vaccines abroad because we don't have the equipment for that, ladies and gentlemen. From other countries, they helped us to have that. What are they doing for us, ladies and gentlemen? They're vaccinating even in schools, ladies and gentlemen. I think your answer I think your question is answered. Do you have any other question? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. We are here as a position of today's debate. We didn't say that vaccines are whether or not useful or they shouldn't be actually given to the people. We are here tackling the point that should they actually be made mandatory or not to all citizens. My first speaker came here telling you that people in the range, as in these kids, when they were vaccinated in the country they gave USA, we had heart inflammations. This is the problem of making it mandatory to all citizens. What do we mean? All citizens include people having low immunity by nature, people having asthma. All citizens include people that cannot support by nature these vaccines. All people include everyone in the nation. They talked about Rwanda. This is a country that has been able to raise only 32% in only 10 months. People are willing to get vaccinated. Why make it mandatory? Let me show you the risk of making it mandatory. Making it mandatory, in Rwanda, currently we are 12 million people. This means 2 doses, those are 24 million doses. And for the information, the National Institutes just declared that we only received 11 million doses, dear judges, 11 million doses for 3 of the doses, Pfizer 1, Pfizer 2, and booster. Then where are they getting the rest? I caught the second speaker. He came and said we don't have equipment. Then what is the maintenance of these doses when they come? 24 million, because we have 11 million. And we already have 32% of people that are vaccinated. We are progressing. In 20 months, Rwanda is able to raise 64%. This is what we are doing. This is what we have. People are being synthesized. People know that they can really, they have to be vaccinated. It's not whether or not the vaccine is useful, because we know it is. And that's why we didn't say that let the people come here and just refute. But the question is, if you put people something, you deny them services. They talked about people not working because they're not vaccinated. Who is losing? Isn't it the government? People work, provide taxes. The moment they don't work, they don't provide taxes. The taxes are here to fulfill every need of the government. If people don't work, we don't have taxes. Who is losing? The government is losing. This is why we should not make it mandatory to all citizens, to all people I quote, all these people that have challenges. So the point is, what are the assumptions? Assumptions are like the vaccines. They came hoping that we're going to go back into the life that we had before. We didn't go back to the life that we had before. What is the first measure that the government runs to when the numbers rise? Isn't it these face masks and the lockdowns? They said they failed. Why is it that the same government goes back to there? Let them answer that. So the other assumption is that they are still making it mandatory. What are they solving? Because we are letting it being an option, we are solving the problem that people are getting vaccinated because they want to be vaccinated, because they see the reason why they should be vaccinated, not by force. So if you deny someone who cannot afford the vaccine because of the natural immunity, you deny them of public services, what is that? That is anti-constitutional. But in Rwanda, whoever violates the constitution is punished. That's a law that has never changed since we started. Why are they making any difference? So are we actually talking about the government? Is the government losing at this point by mandatorizing anything like the vaccination? Is it the same government that they're talking about? Because Rwanda, people are willing to be vaccinated. We are willing to be vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated because I know the reason why I should be vaccinated. Not that anyone put me on a gunpoint. So they said that they want to use physical abuse. Yes, it's not physical abuse, but the point is, what are you doing? Denying people services. That is why are they making mandatory something that is universally not affordable? Something that is universally not there. Vaccines are never there. No country has full vaccines that equal only the 2 doses to all the citizens. This means we can't make it mandatory because we don't have these vaccines. So why are they making mandatory something that is universal, not unavailable? I'll accept your questions.
So, dear Honorable, I would like to ask a question that states that, let us say the proposition side agrees with you. What will you do to stop the coronavirus?
The point is, today, we're not stopping the COVID-19. and we will never stop the COVID-19 because it's unpredictable. We didn't know Omicron was going to come. So it's not whether or not we stop the COVID or we should not stop the COVID. It's whether or not people are getting vaccinated or they shouldn't. People are getting vaccinated by choice, by option. This is what we go. Our world is having people choosing to be safe, not people to forced to be safe. If you deny people of working to get their salaries and everything, where are they getting these basic needs? These are the same people you are going to be forcing to. People need to understand the reason why, and people do. In Rwanda, we understand. That is why we are able and willing. Right now, students are being vaccinated. No one forces them. You just tell them, students, get vaccinated. They just go class by class because they are willing, they are able, as in, they love, they want to be vaccinated because they know the benefits. We allow them with the benefits, but what is the problem? What is the problem making them actually mandatorizing this thing to all citizens, even including those that have health issues? What is the, as in, what if it is not made mandatory, but people keep choosing being safe and being vaccinated? What is the harm in that? If people keep choosing being vaccinated, what is the harm in that can be solved by making it mandatory? That's one. What is the impact of mandatorizing? Only having riots, people protesting and everything. What is the, why actually making it mandatory? Because we can actually afford, we can keep people safe, we can have our population safe. Nothing is greater than the health of the population. That's why we have it by option. So then why making it mandatory? Because we already have it optional. Why making it mandatory? I rest my case.
I have a question for you.
Okay, let's now receive the third speaker from proposition. You may please take your stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the third speaker from the proposition side. I would like to first begin by refuting everything that the first speaker said. So she started with the definition. She talked about the COVID-19. She said a definition, then put etc. But let me tell you, she said some signs and symptoms, and those signs and symptoms lead to death. So what we are trying to clear up is we do not want these death rates to increase. Yes, we're making it mandatory, but for the public health issues. Second of all, we are copying this motion as the proposition side to Rwanda. So we are a democratic country, and democracy is for the people and by the people. So us as the government, we are trying to clear up that we do lead a country, but it is for our own sake. So we are putting it mandatory. First of all, we stated mandatory as compulsory or required by law. We require it as the law. We are not putting anyone at gunpoint. It's a requirement. If you cannot fulfill it, you go aside and let those who can fulfill it. Second of all, she's talking about how kids in the USA die from this. Let me tell you, according to World Health Organization, 14% of children die due to the immunization vaccine. So we can take the risk for at least 2% of these children to have these issues. But first of all, science is a self-correcting discipline. You may lose this time, but next time you're going to find a solution for it. Yes, there's some people having other issues or situations due to this vaccine, but it is saving us. It is saving lives. It is bringing us back to the road that we should. So that point, it's zero. Who said we are forcing? We are requiring it. It's required by us as the law. For example, in Rwanda, you're not permitted to work without an ID, an identification card. Why? Because they want to know who is working, where is the national income in the country flowing to, from, and who. Second of all, the second speaker talking about the government losing. The government is not losing. It is ourselves. Where will our standards stand? The government may lose in the long run, but we are losing immediately. Second of all, you talked about how we fail. These measures, we're not saying they failed. They failed to end COVID-19. This is not helping us. They talked about that they don't want to end COVID-19. That's the reason we're making these vaccines mandatory, because people are dying at a high rate. He talked about it's unpredictable. That is why we're making it a mandatory. People are dying like flies due to a virus which we have a vaccine for, and they're saying, he's literally said that he's vaccinated both doses. Because he knows the reason why. Why can't you allow other people to know the same reason? Because he knows it is important to be vaccinated. We are not doing this for the public sector only, for the public health sector. We're doing this for the education, for children to learn in a secure environment. We're doing this for the economic-wise. We're talking about the tourism, we're talking about market, we're talking about transactions, we're talking about how the national income of a country will increase. We are talking about According to Al Jazeera, COVID-19 is serious and lethal, so illness has sickened at least 239 million people in the world. This is a high rate, so the globe has concluded that the vaccine is the only solution to put this at a decrease. We do not want to put citizens at, literally you talked about a citizen. A citizen is a legally recognized subject in a nation. What is a citizen if they're all dead? COVID-19 is literally, we're doing this for the public health. We're doing this for the people to increase, to at least have a self-secure nation as citizens. So that is what we're talking about. We are not trying to say we're not debating if the vaccine is important or not. We are talking about how the vaccine should be mandatory for the citizens. The citizens, in a way, they have better standards of living, a good cost of living, where they can stand and say they are doing this for the country, for the well-being of the country. And by this, I rest my case to say that the opposition side has come to show us that it is not good to use the vaccine. But what will they do if they're not making it mandatory? Any questions?
So, what do you plan to do to those people who do not want to get vaccinated? You say that you're going to put them aside. Are you going to chase them out of the country?
We're not going to chase them out of the country. This is where we are trying to put the contradiction out of this side. We are saying that it is a requirement by law. If they can't fulfill this requirement, they have to settle and live where they know that I have not fulfilled this. Can you go to school without paying school fees? You stay at home. If they want to live and purchase something and do something, this is where they have to decide their fate. As we said, this is where the government has showed it is the best side. Yes, we're infringing an individual's freedom, but it is for the sake of the country, for the citizens. First of all, they are the ones talking about how it's making social cohesion the worst. First of all, let me tell you, these measures such as lockdown has made hunger, conflicts, and what is worse than that in social cohesion. But the vaccine is only a shot. We're making this mandatory so that the citizens, actually this will increase their social cohesion because they'll be secure around themselves. For example, the fact that we're debating here, I'm not afraid to catch the coronavirus because I'm vaccinated and I know that I do not have a chance to die. As I said, let me repeat that once again, to die. For the citizens. Citizens have to exist, have to live. I hope I've answered your question. Any other question?
Yes, question.
Yes.
Don't we have the economy of Rwanda opened and it's still optional?
Sorry?
Isn't the economy of Rwanda opened and we still have optional vaccination, as in vaccination?
Yes, we do.
Then?
Yes, that's why we want to make it mandatory. For literally 32.3% of people are vaccinated. Why can't we do the rest? Because we know this is for the well-being of the country. Do we have to repeat that again? I rest my case. Thank you.
Okay, let's now receive the last speaker from opposition. Please, you may take the stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. I'm by the names of Umulinga Perfect, and I'm the first speaker from the opposition side. And I'm going to be totally opposing this motion that says that this House believes that COVID vaccines should be mandatory for all citizens. Let me remind the proposition that we do not have a problem with the whole country being vaccinated. The problem we have is by making it mandatory. For your information, maybe you do not know or you do not have examples of countries who made it mandatory. Let me give you simple examples. You're saying that you care about the people, you want that people are more important. But there's no way you can tell me people are important and you're chasing them out of jobs because they're not vaccinated. You're not allowing them to get food. You're not allowing them to go to restaurants. You're not allowing them to enjoy their life just because they do not have vaccines. Let me tell you, a vaccine is not a basic need like all these restaurants, all these things. Denying them. You're saying you care about the people. And for your information, you told us that the government loves you more than you love yourself. Let me tell you that I love myself more than I love the government. And let me tell you something. Let me give you a simple example. The moment you go to visit a friend, and then the friend is like, please, can you, and then the friend is like, I brought food, and then brings food, and then he's like, go take, I brought for you food, come go eat. And then the friend is like, please go eat, I'm telling you, you as a visitor, you will not eat. Let me tell you the reason. You'll be like, that thing must have poison because they're forcing you to have it. But if the person is like, please, come get food, and then you're like, I'm not hungry, you'll be like, okay, it's fine. Then you'll be like, it's okay because I'm not being forced. But that's our nature as humans. The moment we're forced to do something, we'll start doubting it and then you're like, let me talk about what you said. As I told you first, we're not debating about the importance of vaccines. Yeah, we want 100% of people are vaccinated, but we do not want to force the people to get the vaccines. Let them do it themselves. Let them do it by themselves. Because if the effects come, then they will not be like the government forced me. Let me give you a simple example. You're like, these vaccines are very effective. You know what happened in the swine flu vaccines? But the government made it mandatory, and people started taking the vaccines. And you know what happened? Later on, a disease which affected the paralytic nerves occurred. And you know what the people started doing? They were like, the government forced us to take these vaccines, and now see the effects. We do not know the effects of these vaccines right now. We are taking them because now we think they're okay, but we do not know the effects of them in 2 to 20 years to come. And then you're like, let's force all the people to take the vaccine, but we do not know the effects. Why would you force me to take a vaccine that you do not even know, like in years to come, to not make me lose my ability to walk? You do not know. These vaccines were actually an emergency escape. They're not something they're like, we're sure that this is going to work. It was just an emergency escape. And then you're like, we're for the well-being of citizens. I'm telling you, proposition, you're not for the well-being of the citizen. You're actually looking for your own benefits. You're like the economic sector. We do not want people to go in lockdown because we want people to still work, and the economic sector is still working. Are you thinking about the people, or you're thinking about your economy? Let me tell you, we want, as we told you, as my first speaker told you, we want people to do it by their own way. We want, let me give you an example of a country which did that. Among so many countries that are protesting against this COVID-19 are so many European countries. And for more info, you can go to BBC News. So many countries in Europe are protesting because of the COVID-19 vaccine. And let me tell you a country that did not protest. It's France. Let me tell you the reason. It's because they did not force the people. They just told them that these are the facts. This is what the COVID vaccine is doing. It's like people are not dying. Like, it's increasing their immunity. This is happening. And then do you know what? They have a 72% of fully vaccinated people because they were not forced. But the moment, let me tell you a country that forced people and they still have a low vaccination rate, Indonesia. They started forcing people. They're like, you're not coming to work if you're not vaccinated. And let me tell you, people, they have a 32% of people vaccinated. 32%. When France just showed them facts and they agreed to get vaccinated by their own will, why do you want me to, what if we use, I'm telling you that we're going to use this plan and it's going to be more efficient than making the society your enemy. Do not make the society your enemy by forcing people to take these vaccines. They will see how important they are and they're going to do it themselves. We do not have a problem with vaccinating 100%. We have a problem with making it a mandatory. Thank you.
I have a question for you. You are saying that the citizens love themselves more than the government, right?
Of course, yeah.
You are so sure about that.
I'm very sure.
Then if the citizens love themselves more, what they take drugs, what they take those cocaine and everything, and with the government, we put in charge the Iwawa to actually address them and put them in a very great way. So how is that loving yourself?
Let me tell you, let us not compare things that are incomparable. The drugs, let me tell you, a person to take drugs, that is a psychological problem. That is like saying that, why does the government put hospitals? Yeah, it puts things, but yeah, it puts like, if I do not want to even to go in Iwawa, do you think the government is going to force me? It's not going to force me because I love myself more than the government does. There's no way. They're not going to bring me from my home and be like, hey, go to the Iwawa. If I want to, I will go there because I know it's more important for me. Do you know who takes the child to Iwawa? It's the parent, not the government. The government just puts this option, and then the parent is like, I know my child needs this, and then he or she will take the child to the Iwawa. And these are just having a problem. That is, when you take drugs, you actually have a problem. So I don't think that is an issue we can compare with COVID vaccines. Yeah, I'm very sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question for the Honorable. Could you please give us realistic and scientific reasons as to why you think it hasn't been mandatory and why people are rejecting this vaccine?
Why people are rejecting this? It's because they're not, I've told you like 1,000 times. I've told you.
Repeat the question? Okay. 5, realistic and scientific.
5, I'll give you the number I want to. Let me tell you why the reason to why people do not want to take these vaccines. First, they're not sure if what will happen in 10 to 20 years to come. What if I no longer work because of the vaccine that I took? What if we do not know what is going to happen? I gave you an example of the swine flu. It did not, people are like, they're so good. But after some time, it had a very big effect. Thank you. I rest my case.
Okay, thank you very much for all those amazing speeches. So far, you guys have 2 minutes to get ready for the reply speech, and then also have 2 minutes to actually deliver the reply speech, and the opposition come first. Thank you very much. Okay, so after 2 minutes of getting ready for the reply speech, we can now have speaker from opposition to come up with their reply speech. 2 minutes. Thank you. The stage is yours.
So, thank you. The proposition came up here with a plan which left a lot of questions on the side of opposition. They were like, they want to make them mandatory, but we are all aware that the vaccines already in Rwanda, they're not enough. Where are they getting others? What are the funds? What about the maintenance? Then the question is, you want to make them mandatory, but with what? With who? When? So the thing is, they talked about opening up the economy of Rwanda, but Rwanda, the same country they used, has an open economy for the information, and we're so proud of that. So the first question is, if Rwanda has been able to rise 32% in only 10 months, why not proceed with it? So what is actually any factor that is helping them say that what is the likeliness of them putting this mandate? Where are the vaccines coming from? Another question is, they asked scientific reasons why people are not willing to be vaccinated. This is a burden that is for proposition. Because currently, people are willing to be vaccinated. Currently, it's not a mandate. Currently, people do it by choice. So what is wrong with what is happening right now? If they fail to bring it, so the team that will actually win this debate is to show what is the best world. Our world is the world that has no violence, that has no protest, where people are willing by choice. So what is their world bringing? Only a plan. What is the money? Rwanda has already a debt. Why adding on some debt? They said we have no equipment. Then what? Because themselves, they brought vaccines that are not enough. They're putting them mandatory to even those. What about those people that can't afford? They said people that cannot afford those requirements are going to be put aside. What is that side? Are we going to have one Rwanda having two different parts? Never again. We shall never have to divide any country again. If people are willing to be vaccinated by choice, then let's proceed with that. This is our world. Then why put us into something different, as in different perspectives, the government and the people? Because we can do it on the other side. So I rest my case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, the side of opposition, for that reply speech. We can now have the last reply speech from proposition. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to do the reply speech. And I want to clearly answer, and as all the speakers of my side answered, to the questions that came more than once. So first of all, they were here saying that we are violating human rights. How are we violating human rights if I actually even told the first speaker that the Professor Kantanzan Ditsaru clearly stated that we caring about the people's health is not abusing a human right. If we are caring about your health, about your well-being, how is that violating your human right? And then we are actually not violating again their human rights because we're making it mandatory. We're not coming here and put a gun on you and we're like, go and take a vaccine, because if you know that you have to go to work, if you know that you have to go to the hospital, if you know that you have to go to the shop, having a certificate that shows that you have been vaccinated, that's enough for you to go and get vaccinated, because you know already that you won't be able to survive without eating, without going to the hospital because of other diseases, without doing anything else. And then they were like, where are our funds coming from? Our speaker clearly showed it, where he said, Catalin Carico, PhD, and Drew Weissman. They came here and they told you where we are getting funds from. So maybe you didn't get that. And then another thing, dear judges, they're here saying that they should be optional. They are so basing on us making the COVID-19 vaccine optional. But actually, I came in my first speech here as the first speaker and said that not everyone takes this serious, which is why we are making it mandatory. We are not abusing their rights, first of all. We are not making it optional because not everyone is serious. So if we're making it mandatory, it means that each and everyone has to take that vaccine in order to survive, in order to say everything. So we stated our plan. We show you how we're not violating their rights. We show you that it doesn't have to be a choice since not everyone takes it serious. I rest my case and I hope you got it.
Decision making is over and the judges are back. They're here with the verdict and we're gonna hear them in just a while. Grow the Academy, how do you feel?
We feel so good because I think we did our best, and yeah, a winner has to come out of this. So may the best team win.
May the best team win. And team KCS, how do you feel?
Yeah, so I think the debate was intense, but yeah, I hope the best team wins.
Well, that's what we are hoping as well. Judge Christian, you have the final results, I'm told.
Yes, we do.
Yes, and on what grounds did you base on when making those?
As we said before, we say that we have two teams, proposition, opposition, on the guess that vaccination should be mandatory, whereby we say that they may create the world where it is mandatory, they may or they may not, and then for us, if it's two worlds, we shall balance to see which world is better, and if they don't create another world, we shall see what's wrong with the other world, and then we evaluate and see on which one is better for us, we can choose one, that's all.
Yes, and we'll see the better world. Now, a few tips, and we move on to the moment of truth.
A few tips we could say for the both side. One of the things we like to say is that a debate is mostly intellectual discussion, especially to the last speaker here. If you received a cross-examination asking you what are the scientific reasons, and then you went on by saying, I will give you the reasons that I believe that I want to, you believe it's better you interact. If you say scientific, go with the scientific. If you don't, say why. Not saying that I give you what I want to because that's all I feel. So it's more of engaging in what they want to. And then what you could say is that we believe that both of you sides, please clarify whatever you're saying and let every discussion goes together. If they made an argument and has been refuted, please, the rest of the speakers that are coming, remember that and keep on building on that. If you forget about it, it's done. That's what we could say. Thank you.
Well, I hope they get it. And if you don't get it, forget about it. All right, so we're here with the results. Judge Christian, they are here, and I'm going to read them. My favorite part, where I get to make everyone nervous, has come. The team that is taking this one home, it is the team of Opposition Glory Academy. They did a wonderful job and they took it home. Congratulations to Glory Academy. Now, I'd like to get your feedback. How do you guys feel?
Thank you. So we feel excited. We're so thankful to God because we have already seen the loopholes that we had. So if we manage to take it, then we are the winners. Thank you.
Well, the excitement is overwhelming here. So, this brings us to the end of episode 4. See you next time.